Manchester United hunting the next Gareth Bale. That is the rumours, that is the talk about Patrick Dorgu. Who is he? Another young 19-year-old, a new left-back on the scene for Manchester United, currently playing his trade over in Serie A with Lecce. We're going to get into details on that and everything else that's going on with Manchester United. That is our top headline tonight. But alongside that, obviously, as you can see right next to me, we have our man Jay Mourinho. He is back in the house, looking fresh and ready to go, preparing himself for another traumatic rollercoaster of a season with United. He's going to be back weekly with us on the show here. Now, Jay, welcome back, my friend. So good to see you back on the show, and I think everybody is ready for some raw, brutal, honest opinion, my friend.
Adam, my friend, great to be back. Thanks everyone for watching. It's a shame I didn't go raw with you after the debacle against Liverpool because I had a lot of mics to drop. But listen, here we are now, and we have 7 little projects to negotiate for next international window, which we're going to go into. But let's talk to you first.
Yeah, it is. We have got plenty to talk about, as always, and good to get a second opinion on. So get your comments in the comment section, everybody. Make sure that you get your questions across to me or Jay, anything you want to talk about in particular, anything you want to pull me on, because I know a lot of you are disagreeing with a lot of stuff that I'm saying as well, which is fine. It's all about United debate. Everyone has their own opinions. Please, first of all, though, please give the video a like. Make sure we get them likes right up, everyone. You know the score as usual. And make sure you have hit that subscribe button as well, alongside the notification button. If you want to see more of me, more of Jay, more of the different diverse content that we put out there, I will just say it's more honest and we cut through the crap. That's what we do. We get right to the point, and there's plenty to talk about. I'm going to start with Patrick Dorgu. I'm just going to give everyone a bit of a sort of background on this right now. 19-year-old Danish international, just coming through there in in Serie A in Italy. He had his first full season on loan at Lecce last season. They have now made that deal permanent from signing him from over a club in Denmark. He is Stonewall now entering the fray internationally and scoring for Denmark as well. He is seen as the next Gareth Bale. There is multiple interest in this kid. He's going to have 2 years left on his contract at the end of this season. He's got contracted until 2027. His sort of market value is around about 14 million euros at the moment, but Lecce are looking for about 30. As you would when you've got Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, Manchester United, Chelsea and Spurs. Chelsea actually coming close to signing him, but he wasn't keen on joining their feeder club for a season. He wanted to be playing at a better level. It's the only reason he's still on the market. Lots of interest from big European football clubs for this young kid. And let's be honest, it's a player that United really should be looking at. If he is as good as what everyone's saying he is, and Manchester United definitely the left back, then United should be all over this. And I think an opportunity may have come around because it did look like Chelsea had this wrapped up all summer with negotiations, and then it broke down right at the last minute. So really, another one under the radar, another one that fits the mould and the model. Jay, I'm going to come to you. Obviously, we've not talked about much because you've not been involved in the transfer window, but Ineos have a structure. And I think it's a bit of an example here of where they're going. So I want to ask you about, first of all, do we need that left back? Is that a key position? Have you been impressed with Ineos's purchases, the way they've conducted business this summer? The profile of player, being a young player under the age of 25. And overall, like, we'll talk about football in a minute, but behind the scenes at United, Patrick Dorgu looks like another example of where Ineos are trying to take the football club again, mate.
Okay, so Dorgu, 19 years of age, 1.85 m, big lad. His last 3 games was Cagliari played right wing. Against Inter, he was also right wing. And Atalanta, he was left mid. Played a cup game against Montova, and he was played left mid also. He was very carded, so he's out now until I think September the 13th. I think he's out until, as you referenced, he scored on his debut for Holland. So Denmark. At 19 right now, sorry, to Denmark. Look at our left backs. Malacia has been MIA for an entire season. The information coming back on him is very vague as to what the injury even is. We've got high GI, high carbs Shaw. God love him. He's going to come back for a couple of weeks, get injured again. and we have our new right back masquerading as left back. So yeah, we need a left back. Lecce, a very smart business, signed this young kid for only 200,000 euros, and now they're going to flog him for 30 mil. Very smart business. I like the fact that Ineos are looking at the younger profile player. I don't want to see us sign another, 29, 30-year-old defender, get 2 years out of him, then we're going to move him on. So if you get a guy who's 19, you got him for 10 years at the club. So obviously I'm all for it. You reference Ineos and their policy of signing younger players. I think this club needs a sea change. All too often we have signed the tried and tested superstar, and unfortunately it hasn't worked out. And I'll take one of my favorite players of the last 10 years, Bastian Schweinsteiger. Love Basti, but unfortunately we signed him in Twilight's career. Bastian was injured more times than he was playing, but a fantastic player. Same with Ibrahimovic. Loved Ibra, big boss Ibra. Signed him in his twilight. We had one good season from him. Then we did his knee in the run into the Europa League. There's that famous picture of Ibra and Shaw and Bay in their suits at the Europa League final. So I like the fact that we've now shifted the emphasis from signing the superstar, paying extortionate wages, and being stuck on a long-term contract. So as a reference, there's been a sea change in the philosophy of the signings. There's been a sea change in recruitment policy. And I think it's something that won't bear dividends right now because we have an incompetence manager in charge. I think it's going to bear dividends in about 3 years' time when we get a real manager.
Yeah, I'm completely in agreement with what you said there in terms of changing the mould. I've talked about it umpteen times this summer, Jay, in terms of United buying players, the right players, but at the wrong time of their career. It's something that we have done relentlessly, I feel. Well, Ed Woodward and Murto and Arnold and co have been in situ, and it is a breath of fresh air. And like you said, they're smart business from Lecce, but these are the players that United have been slagged off for constantly for not going in and getting at the right price at the right time. Now, 30 million for a 19-year-old, if he's going to be at the club for a decade, it's pretty decent money. I think everybody who is in for him is decent at the highest level, and I think he'll have plenty of suitors there. I wanted to sort of reference the likes of Obi Martin as well, another young Danish forward who is the same national team, obviously, as Dorgu. But that sort of appeal, like the younger players coming to United right now, I want to get your opinion on this in a minute, actually, Jay, but I was talking the other day about it being the right time to be a very, very good young player in European football and go to Manchester United, because we know that there's room in this first team squad. There is, and it's why Arsenal are losing a lot of their younger players, because they are not in a real position to give a young player time to sort of come through right now. They need ready-made players because they're challenging for the title now, and if they don't get it now, I think they may have missed out a little bit. But United are in a very good position, I feel, to bring in young talent. I think, believe it or not, it sounds crazy, but United is an appealing proposition now for a lot of young players in terms of them actually getting real game time. So, yeah, I'll get you into that in a minute. I just want to quickly bring up Tom in the Super Chat. Thank you, Tom. I know he has a long name, but we're going to shorten it to Patrick Dorgu. But I really appreciate the Super Chat, mate. Just wanted to shout out one of our consistent subscribers who is sadly on his way to, in his words, bury his father who has passed away. Sorry about that, Adam, absolute legend of the channel. He's constantly on the live shows with us, on the watch-alongs as well. Love to all of you and your family, mates. Hope everything goes well. I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you're here actually on the show tonight, actually being part of the live chat as well. Hopefully we can take your mind off things a little bit and you can enjoy that with us. But big shout out to you as well, Adam, and everyone else who is already in the chat as well. Hope you all excited that international break is nearly over. I am. I'm sick of talking about it. I'm ready to build up to this game against Southampton this weekend. And yeah, I did mention Tom's Super Chat. I did say the Super Chat from Tom there. It's just, I can't read it out because I don't know how to pronounce his middle name, pal. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm sure Graham, who loves doing the pronunciation side of things, will tell us later. But I might put it into a pronunciation machine later and find out what it is. But Tom, legend, as always, thanks for the super chats. And again, Adam, I can just see you popping into the chat there. You are more than welcome, my friend. More than welcome. Love to have you in every single time. I'm glad you're here again, even in the circumstances, buddy. Yeah, moving on, Jay. You touched on it there in terms of the right players for Manchester United. Obviously, the signings that have come in, there was a big ordeal regarding Lenny Yoro. Does it show you that Manchester United have got real players in-house right now? Because we literally did steal Yoro from underneath Real Madrid's noses. And I think that surprised everyone. It pretty much set out the stall, didn't it, this summer? The Euro signing was like, oh, hang on a minute. We have actually got competent people who know all about football working at our football club now.
Precisely, Adam. After the last 10 years of gross incompetence, negligence, and financial mismanagement, we now have the antithesis of that, with a structure that can go out and pitch a long-term project to a young player. And you reference game time, and game time, I imagine, was the key tenet of that pitch. You're a young, upcoming player. You can go to Real Madrid. You get the same money, but you're going to sit on the bench. You might play some Copa del Rey matches. You might play the odd Champions League game when Real already qualified. We come to us, and you will get game time. You're going to play 35 games a year, and we're going to develop your career. Unfortunately for Euro, he got injured in a pre-season tour. But I love the fact that we got him from on the nose of Real Madrid, and it's been a long time, Adam, since we snapped up a young player from any top club in Europe. So that tells me that the structure is right, structure is improving, and we have the correct sharks in the water that will snap up a young player and do a proper deal.
Yeah, that's it. I can see people in the chat already like saying, Marco said we offered 3 times more than what Madrid did. No, we offered the right market value for him and a bit more to get the deal done. I feel Madrid weren't going to pay any more because they thought they could just click their fingers and get the player through the door, and that's why Liverpool didn't bid a normal bid price. For me, it just shows you that right now, again, and this leads us to the football side of things, Jay, that everything that could possibly have been done has been done behind the scenes, and it will be now for season on season, especially when it comes to, like we just said then, pre-season in terms of organising tours, the transfer window. Everything seems to be structured and in place. The youth academy setup is looking fantastic. They're already off to an absolutely outstanding start this season again, and we're adding young talent to that pot as well, in the likes of Obi Martin, Lascelles, Overy, a few other players coming through as well. And it looks like everything is in place to work. The only thing that's not working, Jay, is our beloved first team players and their manager at the moment, under a lot of scrutiny. I've said my piece. Obviously, you weren't happy yourself. You messaged me after the Liverpool game. I've spoken to many fans outside the stadium who are now worried. I knew what was going to happen this week. I knew that we would get a little bit of calm after the storm. Everyone would start thinking again, where everyone's overreacting. I just remember, and I always look back and I try and sort of think on the line of how I felt when the game actually finished. And don't forget that. Yeah, you can try and convince yourself things are going to be better and other players are coming back, Jay, but you have to look at what was in front of you. And again, it just wasn't good enough, Jay.
Okay, so that game was a game of threes. Obviously, when the score was 3-0, Ten Hag's third year in charge against Liverpool manager, his third game in charge. And for 3 seasons in a row, Ten Hag has capitulated. Very simple. And I don't rate him. I haven't rated him for quite a long time. Discussed off air how I wanted him gone after he shit the bed last season in the Champions League. A lot of the fans went in hard on Casemiro. I know Andy Mitten did an excellent piece. I went great detail about Casemiro and how the fans need to cop themselves on regarding Casemiro. Yeah, he's a yard shot and pace, but his football brain is one of the best football brains right now in European football. So Casemiro will reassess his performance and he will come good in the season. But what a lot of fans have been talking about is our clown of a goalkeeper. I think Onana's positioning has been piss poor. On many times last season on the show, Adam, we referenced how slow he was to dive to the near post. We went through on another fan channel and previously, Adam, you recall this bollocks about distribution from De Gea. Well, Onana is no better at distributing the ball than De Gea. Meanwhile, De Gea had 14 clean sheets. So the fans were very quick to jump on Casemiro. They need to look closer to home to the manager. We've had that young chap at Bandier. We haven't seen him playing goal at all. The manager won't drop Onana. It's his signing. He persisted with Rashford. Rashford gets a big pat in the back from a lot of the fan base because he put a cross in the box. Jesus Christ, put a cross in the box, as Roy Keane would say, do your job and more. So I just feel, Adam, that we're sitting here now 3 years in and we're having the same conversation that we were having 3 years ago after we got done by Brighton 4-0. And it's all revolves on one person only, the manager.
That, I mean, again, he's the only one that can control. This is the point that I make. I get a lot of criticism, as you know, and a lot of people say I just make a beeline for Erik Ten Hag in any sort of subject I can on the negative side. I've not, because I believe that Ten Hag can change it. He's the only one who can change it, and the way he changes it is exactly how you just described it then, Jay. It's by giving other players a chance and actually thinking outside of the box. Onana, for me, honestly, he's on a par. I don't know. I'm trying to just like. I wouldn't say Taibe, but I think he's got the kicking qualities of Mark Bosnich, who was terrible distribution-wise. And I think in terms of shot stopping, I think the other keepers that are behind him are actually better. I went online. I think I was clipped up for saying I think that Tom Heaton is a better goalkeeper than Andre Onana. I still think he is a better goalkeeper than Andre Onana. He just gives me kittens every single time he touches the ball. And yes, a lot of people have let up because Casemiro had an absolute stinker of a game. An absolute stinker. And yesterday, and not many people have commented on it, and I made the point, and I tried to put it out there. I spoke with Raymond van der Houw in the Legends game yesterday, Jay, and I asked him about the pressure of Onana and being a Manchester United goalkeeper, and he obviously came back with these usual answers. Look, it can be the best job and the worst job in the world. You make a mistake, it's end of days. You end up usually conceding a goal, and if it's a costly goal, then you're the one that everyone's looking at. But he also made a really good point, and I asked him because I tried to sort of give him an angle to defend Onana, and he spun it. I said, is it important that you get a consistent back four in front of you as a goalkeeper? So you start to learn the players, you start to know them players' traits, and you obviously start to build a bit of camaraderie, a bit of rapport with them with the back four in front of you, or back three, however you want to play it. But he spun it around. He went, yes, that's important, but it's also important the other way round. The other way round is that defence can only play well if that goalkeeper is giving them confidence behind it, because they don't see what the keeper sees. He is behind them, and they need to feel confident that if something comes past them, then he is going to be able to deal with it. I mean, I'm a defender. I have banged that drum for so long, mate. Honestly, I was so happy when Van der Houw came out with that, because if he easily could have went down the goalkeepers' union there and defended Onana, but he didn't. He spun it around and said it's also important that the defence feel confident in the goalkeeper. And our defence got slaughtered last season. I just feel like what Raymond van der Houw said, I think it's important that the point is made. And so you could actually use Onana's frailties as a excuse for some of the defenders as well, because you're constantly turning around. You're constantly double-checking yourself and making sure you know where your goalkeeper is. You should naturally know, shouldn't you, Jay? And I feel like he has contributed more to the goals that we've conceded just by putting the fear of God in the bleeding defenders.
That's a very incisive statement by Raymond van der Gouw, because Raymond van der Gouw deputised for Schmeichel many times, and also for Barthez, who was another Shardson in goal. And the key word there you referenced, Adam, is confidence.
Yep.
You play as centre half. I used to play as the right back many moons ago. If you haven't confidence in the man behind you, like the cliche, the last line of defence, you are going to overcompensate. You're going to make a mistake, and you're going to make that last-ditch tackle because you don't have confidence in your goalkeeper to come out, claim the ball, and narrow the angle. So it goes back to confidence. So what Van der Gouw said yesterday, it's very, very telling, and you referenced as well. Normally, goalkeepers, it's like the mafia, it's like the law of Metra. They will not say a bad word against each other, but the very fact that he came out and said that is very, very telling.
It is indeed. It really is. Happy birthday to another subscriber as well, United Spotlight. Have a great day, mate. Simon Adams interviews with the legends, top notch, mate. Thank you, appreciate that. We have an Honest Tiger super chat in. Good to see you in, mate. Hope you're doing well. Hi, Adam and Jay. Quick question for Jay. What would be your best starting 11 now for United? Keep up the great work. So, let's just say now, Jay, as in who we've got available. So let's just take Lenny Oro and Malacia out of the equation and work on that. Let's say, what is your team, Jay?
Okay, so I'm starting Heaton in goal.
Go. I like it, mate. Don't know why that tickled me so much, but yeah, it was just like boom, mic drop.
My centre back. Well, listen, I cannot play the African TV in goal. I just can't do it. I won't do it, right? So centre backs pick themselves. Delete and Martinez. My right back right now is Gabi Delo, even though I think against Liverpool, he was called for these 2 of those goals. He's erratic pressing forward. Maybe that came from the manager to press forward so much. And then our new right back who's playing left back has no choice but to stay there. I start Orgate next week with Menu. I bench Casemiro. I have to bench him. I'm a big fan of the chap, but I do put him in the bench because Casemiro then will come on with 20 minutes to go when inevitably Menu runs out of steam and take over for Menu. That's my midfield. Bruno, if I had another CDM, number 10 to play for Bruno that I had confidence with, I also would drop Bruno as well. No question about it. Rashford will drop for Ahmed. How our player of the month for August didn't start as Liverpool's beyond me. He's dropped for Rashford. It's given. Garnacho hasn't been fantastic. He goes on the left, but who else can I play on the left? I'm not playing Anthony, another fake Brazilian, so he's not starting. And then I'm left with Xerxes. I don't want to start him either because I haven't seen enough from Xerxes so far. But he's all we have at the moment. So I think there's three spots there that we are stuck to who we start. I would like Bruno to spin a few games on the bench, no question about it. But who starts at 10? So I hope, Honest Tiger, that's of some help to you.
It was very detailed. I like that, Jay. In terms of them positions, I agree. Back four, goalkeeper, Agate, Mainu. I would still play Bruno right now because of what you said, Jay. I'm not confident of anyone else. I would love to have seen Mason Mount hold a berth down there if he wasn't injured and play in his natural position. Xerxes can play 10, but Ronald Koeman played him as an out-and-out 9 yesterday, and he scored on his Dutch debut, full international debut start, and he got an assist against Bosnia and Herzegovina yesterday. So I think he's our leading goal scorer for one, with 1 goal. I think I can sort of like try and make some. I know what you mean. He's raw. He's very, very raw. He's incredibly skillful, which a lot of people haven't picked up on yet. I think he's not mobile enough yet. He will get to grips with the Premier League. But I think there's a lot of learning there for Joshua Xerxes. Some people have actually said, Jay, would you play Ahmad in the 10 role? Now, I've always been one of them. I like Ahmad coming from the right, and I have always been clipped up and been that person who says round pegs in round holes. Let's not try and make a player into another position that's never played there in his life before. I get it, but I just like them playing. That's why I would always pick Bruno, mate.
I think that's as bad as the fan theory a couple of years ago where fans wanted Lindelof to play the CDM. Remember that?
Yeah.
So
mate.
I'm straight away. I'm kiboshing that theory. No way.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Like that, I literally got a shiver down my spine when you mentioned Lindelof in midfield. Then for a minute,
but you remember the fan theory. Oh, he'd be great in midfield. Yeah, kiss my ass, not a chance.
Yeah, no, not having that one. Guys, please give the video a like. We've got now over 900 people in the room with us right now. Over 200 likes. Let's get them likes up near the 400 mark. I think that equates to the right amount for the amount of people that we've got in the room. So everyone who hasn't given the video a like, please do give the video a big thumbs up. Let's move on again. Honest Tiger has donated a membership. Thank you, buddy. And that's gone to Simon Heron. Simon, thank you, because you're the one that actually brought up the comment about the interviews yesterday. with the players in the mix zone. A few more comments coming in. I'm going to get through a few of them now. Shiva says, "Hi Adam, all United players do exceptionally well in international teams, but not doing well at United. Does it mean our manager is somewhat of a misfit at United?" Other managers are playing our players in different positions. I mentioned this the other day, and actually, Jay, I want to get your opinion on the shape right now, because I talked about this the other day. We had Bruno Fernandes playing in the middle three on the left-hand side, not actually in the middle, playing at 10. So he operated in a flat middle three on the left-hand side with Vitinho and Bernardo Silva. We had Lisandro Martinez playing in a back three on the left-hand side. And we had Xerxes playing as an out-and-out number 9 as well. I said it, and my biggest issue with the argument on Casemiro and trying to defend him, his legs haven't gone, I don't think. If you've got a quality midfielder like Casemiro, and it's not working in the system you're playing, to get the best out of it, you have to be adaptable and change the system to fit your better players. Now, obviously, we can't build a future around Casemiro, but for the meantime, is there a shout for actually changing shape? And what would be your ideal shape as well? Because we're always going down the road of the 4-2-1-3 or 3-1, whichever you want to call it. Would you change shape? Would you ever think about playing 3 centre backs as well, Jay?
I've always been a massive fan of a 3-5-2 formation. That's my preferred formation, and when I'm training my under 12 team, that's what we try and get them to impart. But that's based on having 3 complete thugs, and that's just how I view them, playing in the back 3, and that not getting past. Obviously, then my left and right back are become quasi wingers, and then I need then my left and right wing to come into midfield and overload. So that formation requires a massive amount of work rate, which I don't think our players right now, from what I've seen, Adam, last season and now, are capable of giving. And therefore, Ten Hag plays in this very safe formation that he's been playing in so far. I don't think Ten Hag is a risk taker. In fact, I think Ten Hag is a risk adverse.
Yeah. We've had many conversations with people who've been on the show, I've spoken to on other shows, who have spoken to me outside of Old Trafford, and they just want to enjoy the football. Kaz constantly says to me, I just don't enjoy watching Manchester United right now. The biggest thing, and not to bring up the obvious, which is everyone talking, if things go wrong, Ten Hag loses his job and things like that. I've said at the top of this show that I think Ten Hag can change it and turn it around if he does the obvious, which you just said then, Jay, he just is too stubborn to do anything different, and that's his problem to deal with. We only can talk about what we watch, and if he's willing to leave players out and put other players in that probably a lot of the fan base would agree are not deserving of them positions, then that's on him. If he's not willing to change shape, that's on him. We can only talk about what we see. But for me, looking at everything that's coming up with Manchester United, if Ten Hag doesn't find a system that works for his better players, then he's on a hiding to nothing. And Ineos want to see fast-flowing attacking football. I've not seen it once under Ten Hag, and they're backing him right now and coming out and backing Ten Hag in Dan Ashworth and Omar Barada. Do you feel like that is the kiss of death? Because I looked at it a bit differently to how everyone else looked at it. So when they come out and backed him before the Liverpool game, was that the vote of confidence, or should I say the dreaded vote of confidence, in your opinion, Jay?
I'm just going to rewind that back slightly. Ten Hag came within a hair's breadth of getting knocked out of the FA Cup by Coventry. Mm-hmm. Okay? United had an easy run at that FA Cup, apart from the win against Liverpool. And I think the fan base got drunk on emotion after we beat Man City, because let's be fair, none of us expected that performance against Man City. So that performance against Man City, we've seen that performance once, twice maybe in the last 3 years. Why can that manager not recreate that performance on a weekly basis? Where is the deficiency in his motivation skills? How is his team up? Or are the players just not up for the run-in-the-middle Premiership games, which is the bread and butter? So that's how I'm going to assess that. Secondly, the Ineos had no option but to back him before Liverpool. They had no option. His contract's been extended. But that being said, if they are in danger of not, since for argument's sake, the Europa League goes Pete Tong on us, I think then they'll pull the trigger, because they cannot not afford not to be Champions League football next season, because the financial ramifications based on what they've invested, their project over the next 5 years is CL football year in, year out. And that's where the money is, and that's where Ineos have to be. So if he, for some reason, messes up the Europa League, I think it's going to be gone, because that's his last vestige of qualifying for the Champions League. So I don't think Adam, right now, from what I've seen so far on those 3 games, I can't see top 4.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through the chat here with that off the back of what you just said there, Jay. But yeah, I'm sort of like agreeing with like the Europa League is absolutely huge for Manchester United this season. And people think we should just concentrate on the league. Like, we can't afford to. We can't afford. I think it's easier for United to win the Europa League than it is to finish in the top 4. It is. We're a cup team, and we know this, and that's what I've said all along. Bexy says Ineos will be working in a system with Erik ten Hag. There will be conversations about everything. That's why United can bounce back. We know they can bounce back, but we've been talking about this before. Like, Erik ten Hag is still not doing what Ineos want him to do. He's still doing what we were doing last season, and I don't think he's going to convince anyone until he starts changing things up, and we do see change on the pitch. We cannot take the game. I can't remember the last game I sat there comfortable, but it was in Ten Hag's first season. That's how long ago it was when I was actually sat there feeling we've had a full 90 minutes here. And there was probably a couple of chances we gave away in that game which could have sent the game the opposite way. We don't dominate games, which Ten Hag says he wants to do. We don't control possession, which he says we want to do. And we don't play fast-flowing, attractive football, which he says we do. Like he says, we're the second best team in the league behind Manchester City because we've won 2 cups. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's quotes from years back pretty much came back to really bite Ten Hag on the arse there. And then who do you believe in terms of what the standards are at the football club? Do you go down the manager that's been sacked before because he couldn't handle the superstars? Or do you go down the manager now that's working under the new structure? I've got a video going out right now which is asking people like their controversial opinion. And one of the big ones on it was one fan saying, if you'd have gave Ole Gunnar Solskjaer what Ten Hag has got right now, we'd have been watching a lot better football, and it would have been working. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the unluckiest manager in a lot of people's eyes at Manchester United, but it's been and gone. It doesn't matter now. It's up to Ten Hag to change everyone's minds, like mine, like Jay's. We're just not confident, that's all we're saying, in him doing it. I would love to be proved wrong, because that means United are winning. And that's what I keep on saying. You got Rolls with a super chat that says, what are the odds they move out Casemiro and or Antony in the January window and line up replacement squad level players for them? No, I don't think that's possible. I don't think anyone is taking Casemiro on his wages or Antony on his wages right now. I really don't. But and again, I've always said it throughout the summer, through every window, with Ineos, never say never. Anything is possible with this lot. It really is. Another manager gets the sack. A new manager comes in and wants their players. Players go and come in, and on it goes. Wrong, Malps, because like we said, Ineos are running the show. The next manager that comes in will be given the players. In fact, I'll get your opinion on this. Ruud van Nistelrooy, is he the perfect man to come in because he's the new breed of coach? Jay, I feel like the next man coming in will be a coach, not a manager. That's my whole look on it. But do you feel like this is the structure that they're putting in? And like I said the other day, this is why Tuchel turned the job down, because he didn't want to work within a footballing structure which was pretty much running the show in terms of recruitment.
Yeah, I think it's become almost like an NFL team model where you have a head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, kicking coach, and then the GM and all the guys working for the GM, they recruit the players. The head coach has no say in recruitment, and whoever comes in, that's the model. There's no question about it. And also, Ten Hag has been proven beyond a shadow of a doubt to be inept in sourcing players and sourcing talent. We can go through his signings if you want in the chat, but he's inept with that. Name me one player that he signed that we are going, wow, what a signing, Ten Hag.
I mean, some people would argue Martinez, but he has been off this season so far. There's potential in Mazraoui, I feel, as like for the price, very, very good player. But again, I start to think like Ineos had a big input in that as well. And look, I've said it all along. Like, I'm not saying that Ineos have brought all these players in. I think Ten Hag has had a say in this window, and I think he, alongside Ineos, is doing the right thing because this was what was brought up with Agate. Like Ineos convincing him that he was the right man to go for, and Ten Hag went along with it. That's Ten Hag making a right decision. I'm not taking that away from Ten Hag. I'm saying that he has worked with his football structure, and together, Ten Hag needs credit. Ineos and everyone inside, they all need credit together because they came to the right decision. I just feel like it's not even worth arguing that point for Ten Hag right now about what he's doing off the pitch, because the overriding factor is always what happens on it, Jay, and we cannot ignore the eye test, which is what football we're watching on the pitch.
Okay, well, let's ask everybody in the chat. Do you believe Ten Hag is the man to win a Premiership with United in the next 3 years? Yes or no?
Well, I answered that straight away the other day
with
a resounding no. He's not going to pick up the trophies that I want to be. I want to see lifted. I want to see these United players lifting. He's not going to bring me the Champions League or the Premier League title. I think he'll get us into top 4 with the right structure, and I think this is what we're hoping for. And this is why I don't think they gave him an Ineos contract, Jay. I think they extended the one that he's already on, and they can just say, look, this is the deal that we didn't put in place. So really, they can wash their hands of it come the end of the season if they want to.
And I think, should he fail to be in Champions League next season, I do certainly believe he'll get the bullet. I've got no doubt in my mind. It's Champions League or bust for Ineos. That's very simple.
I mean, let's go through these next group of games when we come back, Jay. We'll get everyone else's opinion on this. So actually, I think we've got a poll running right now, but I'm going to end that poll now. Are there better keepers than Onana already at United? And the vote is 70% of you said yes. 30%, I mean, come on. I know, but everyone's got an opinion. I'm only joking. Yeah. I'm going to end that poll now. We're going to get another one up in a minute. How many points will Manchester United get out of their next 4 league games? That's what we're talking about right now. Southampton, Palace, Spurs and Villa. Southampton and Palace and Villa are all away from home, by the way. And Spurs is the only home game in the next group of fixtures. Me and Jay are going to go through this now with all the games coming up. So get involved in the chat. We'll get a poll up in a minute. How many points United will actually get in this next group of games. But Jay, first of all, obviously on paper, it looks like not a bad start. Southampton, Barnsley, Crystal Palace. When you're off the back of a pressure situation and the performance against Liverpool, you would want to be getting a pretty decent run of games, wouldn't you? Is that a decent run of games for you?
In essence, I think it's the run of games of death here. It's the circle of death. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 games, 5 away and 2 at home, and only 20 in Spurs are at home. Those league games,
Barnsley as well in the League Cup. Yeah.
I'm not even counting that, because I know he's going to play his best 11 just get next round because we're a cup team, and he comes hard in his cup games. So I'm not even rating that. I'm saying right now, guys, we get 4 points from those league games. Total 4 points. Villa away loss. Spurs home draw. Southampton win. 4 points. That's it.
But you're losing to Palace as well then.
Yeah, we are losing to Palace because we want the Palace away, and we almost lose the Palace away. So 4 points. That puts us on 7 points, as we discussed after Adam. 7 points in October, relegation form.
Oh yeah. Would that be? I mean, I'll ask you, Jay, and then I'll ask how you think Ineos might look at that. Is that enough to pull the plug, or is it because he's still in Europe that, like I've said, because he's still got a chance of getting Champions League football, he will always stay until he's completely out of Europe?
I firmly believe it's all predicated on Champions League, because that is where Ineos have all their eggs. It's qualifying for the Champions League. That's their business model. That's their financial plan over the next 5 years. So having 7 points in October in the league won't necessarily see him be sacked. But the Europa League, if he finishes third, fourth, and that he's done.
Yeah, you look at the Europa League, Jay. If you finish in the top 8 out of the 36 teams that are in it, you automatically go through to March and the round of 16. I'm looking at the teams in there, and there's no, there is some mugs, I will say that definitely, but there's no one out there in a two-legged game that United cannot beat. I'm sorry, I feel confident playing any one of them teams on a neutral ground for a final or in a two-legged tie. United can get the better of every single one of them. I have more confidence in United winning the Europa League than getting top 4. And that would be just crazy to think about in the past. But looking at it, it's impossible, Jay, not to qualify. Because if you don't finish in the top 8, you even get a playoff game to make it through as well, which we don't want because it's more games. Obviously, and then we'll get the excuse about fitness and maybe injuries again. And like you just said, then the biggest concern is he's always going to play his strongest team and not rest anyone, Jay.
Yeah, and then he'll bang on about injuries and recovery time. But you're the manager. Your team selection over a run of 6 games, you don't rest players. You're going to get muscle injuries. You're going to get muscle spasms. You're going to get strains. So that's on you as well as the manager. So you can make, all the excuses you want about Harry Potter references in interviews and bullshit about injuries. If the players don't recover sufficiently between a running games, muscle injuries, they're on you, the manager. That's your fault, mate.
Yeah, you're the one who's got to look after the players and give them, like we said, rotation. He's got enough players in there now. He's got, in some positions, even more than 2. He wanted 2 players for every position. He's got more than that in some, and pretty much that as a minimum in every single position on the pitch right now. Well over 300 likes, creeping up to 1,000 people in the room with us right now. Please give the video a like, everyone. Make sure you've hit that subscribe button as well. We're on the road to 60k, not far away, just over 1,500 people away from hitting that 60k subscriber mark, guys. So please make sure you've hit that subscribe button and like the video as well. Get your chats coming in. Veronica Griffiths says, Adam or Jay, is there any way Ineos and the board could tell Erik ten Hag to drop Rashford and play Garnacho on the left? In my opinion, he is too good a player to be a super sub like Fairclough was for Liverpool. As in, Garnacho is too good to be a super sub, Jay. Do you reckon Ineos could do that? I don't like the fact that people were saying that Wilcox was the one that got the results at the end of last season. It's all on Ten Hag, that. Look, if we're going to bang the drum about the football not being great on the pitch with Ten Hag, we obviously have to bang the drum when it does work as well. And I want to balance that out and say, Ineos have no say, for me anyway, I'll get your opinion on it now, Jay, about how things are worked out on the pitch. Ten Hag takes control from that training ground to the game at weekend, and it's on him in every single way. It's all his creation. Honestly, to touch on that though, do you think Garnacho is too good to just be sat on the bench constantly, Jay, or is he still young enough to actually bring into the game that way?
I think Garnacho is still a developing player. I think if anything last season, Ten Hag overplayed Garnacho. The last 6-8 game season, I think Garnacho was out on his feet, as was Menu. So I wouldn't have an issue with Garnacho being used as quote unquote super sub as that follower indicated. But if I've option A of starting Garnacho over Rashford, then it's a no-brainer. And to touch on Rashford, we've had this conversation, Adam, many times, and I stand by what I previously said. I do believe he has his contract when fit he has to play. I actually believe that. And then you referenced in about the hierarchy above Ten Hag. They've no say whatsoever in team selection. No manager or coach of any team or any level is going to allow his bosses to have any influence on who he selects. If that was the case, well then why there's a manager, you've got no power. So who he selects on a match day and whatnot, that is primarily on Ten Hag. The training structure from Monday to Sunday, how it's set up, the training, the diet, all that's on Ten Hag. That is nothing to do with Barada and Ratcliffe and the boys above him.
Do you feel he's running down an endless road with Rashford? He said last season he's going to keep playing him. He will come good. He will come good. Eventually he will come good. And I think everybody's waiting for Rashford to have that one game to come out and say, oh, he told you, this is what it's all about. And then everyone will forget about what happened before in the time that it took to get there and get that one good game. Honestly,
Okay.
I just feel like he is. If he keeps with Rashford, and people are saying in the chat there, I'm only bringing it up because of it, Jay, but I'll get your opinion on him right now. I've said it all along. Rashford will end Ten Hag, and his willingness to make him the player that he thought he had in his first season when he scored 30 goals. It was the only reason he kept playing him last season, and it was to his downfall, I think. And I think in the end, it will go that way again, Jay.
Yeah, I firmly believe Rashford will be the rock that Ten Hag will perish on. I think Ten Hag's, loyalty, his misguided trust in Rashford. It's like my namesake in the in-betweeners, Jay. All these tall stories about he's going to do this, he's going to do that, yada, yada, yada. But in actual fact, he never did anything. So playing this notion of playing into form, Rashford has had an entire summer to get match fit. Okay, you saw there just this week his propaganda people put out a picture of Marcus doing extra training. Big deal. It's your job. You're a professional football player. So the Rashford propaganda machine is always trying to put out these positive messages about Rashford. Rashford needs 4 or 5 games on the bench to be used as a super sub and prove himself back to the fans. And I think, Radham, the worst thing for me was after the debacle last year in Belfast, when he scored that goal against Wolves. It was like, I now walk on water, lads. I'm infallible. I'm Marcus Rashford. I'm undroppable. And that was the worst thing that happened. He scored that goal because he firmly believes his own hype.
Alien8 says there, if it was a slight dip in form from Rashford, I could understand it from Eric Ten Hag, but he has been terrible for 2 seasons now. Director of football, even Moyes wouldn't have stood there for 90 minutes watching the opposite manager execute a press like that. So it's hard to get over that performance from Eric Ten Hag. First manager that drops Bruno will become king. Graham Jones says, and as for Maguire, his granddad is Ferguson's mate. Quickly, an update on the poll as well. How many points will United get from the next 4 league games? We have 4 options for you. 1 to 3 points, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, or 10 to 12. Believe it or not, Jay, 20% of the people think United can get 10 to 12 points. Well, of course we can. We should be beating all of them teams that we're up against. But the majority are going with you. 37% are actually saying it will be between 4 and 6 points in these games. I think our record, an away record, speaks volumes in that one, Jay, because Ten Hag has lost more games in the Premier League away from home than he has won. He's breaking all stats, and sometimes he's even breaking his own stats and records this season. But in terms of, we've already... I mean, actually, Jay, it's a good time now because the transfer window is over. I want to get your sort of look on what your minimum expectation is for the season as well. And we're obviously going to be having plenty of these meets throughout the season now, after games and so on. But the window is shut. Players are coming back to fitness. Ten Hag has nearly got a fully fit squad because we're expecting Højlund and Luke Shaw to be available when we come back from international duty as well. Then it will just be the likes of Yoro and Malacia. That's it, like we discussed earlier. What are your bare minimum for this season? What are you looking to get out of this? And basically, what keeps Ten Hag in a job, Jay?
Top 4 won't happen. I can't see it, my friend. So it is win the Europa League, plain and simple. That's it.
Just get into the Champions League by hook or by crook.
Champions League, stutter and stammer into the Champions League. That for me would be a successful season. Now, guys, come back at me, disagree or agree, but for me, that would be a successful season. I don't give a shit about an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup. Don't care.
Yeah, obviously we'll celebrate them if we get them, but we cannot use that as the benchmark now. That's what we have won the last 2 years. If he gets Carabao Cup, then FA Cup, and then upgrades it again to the Europa League and gets into the Champions League, then you can't even argue with the progression. The only thing you can argue with is the crap football that you're watching on the pitch. And like you just said then, just stagger over the line into a Champions League. Is that what we're expecting now, Jay? Do you feel like your standards have had to have been dropped by the way that United are playing and Ten Hag's stubbornness in how he wants to set this team up?
Yeah, I know. Like I've been banging on about standards with you for years now, and I hate to say it, but I never thought that I would accept, as you referenced there, just to fall into a Champions League spot. But that's what a club is now. That literally is where we are. We're not. We play shocking football. We have a manager that cannot get the best out of his side, irrespective of being 600 million pounds worth spent. So unfortunately, Adam, that's where we are. That is the standard, and I reluctantly have to accept that.
Yeah, it's painful, isn't it? We're just hoping to see a little bit of progress in the way that we play. I think a lot of United fans would actually take a little bit of a run and go, do you know what, I can actually see something working there. Or actually, do you know what? Actually knowing what United are going to do, like knowing how we're going to play and who he's going to play. I still don't think he knows his best 11. And I feel like that is a big problem alongside it. We can moan about injuries forever and a day if we want, but really, I think he needs to settle on his best 11 very, very quickly, and hopefully that brings him that style of football that he wants. The Champions League has ruined English football. Now fans see qualification above all else. It's all about the money, Jonathan, I'm afraid. The Muppet Show says it would be great to have a fully fit team for once with every option at Ten Hag's disposal. Then I'll judge whether he's the man or not to take us forward. Look, everyone's got injuries. Everyone will always have injuries, and we shouldn't be using it as an excuse. We had more than enough to deal with what we had last season, and we just didn't. It's as simple as that. The Director of Football says, I would take no cups, top four, and visible consistency in style of play week in, week out. We need a foundation to build on. We're not Spurs. Hats need trophies in the cabinet. We don't need... We do. We like trophies, but we're not desperate for them like someone like Spurs are. We want to actually enjoy watching the football again. Quickly, guys, as well, it is the draw tomorrow for... the prize and football prizes. I'm just going to put it up above Jay's head right now. Obviously, there you go. I've covered Jay up with the prize. Sorry, Jay. Mainu and Bruno Fernandes signed shirt, framed, fully authenticated, is one of the prizes within the draw. Also in the draw is hospitality tickets to every single Manchester United home game in the Europa League. £3.95 a ticket. Buy what you can afford. I need to emphasise that. But get involved with our partners here on Forever United TV at the football prizes. Bloody hell, good job to actually remember who is actually running the show there. But yeah, football prizes are our partners here, giving this brilliant prize there. That shirt combo is an absolute steal if you manage to get the right ticket for it. So get entering now. The link is in the description, guys, right at the top. We'll also put it up in the chat in a minute as well. But Jay, Europa League at Manchester United. I have to say, like, obviously we don't want to be here again. It's not where we should be. United Thursday night football, Sunday again. Do you feel like there is a chance that Ten Hag inadvertently can stumble upon something, i.e. we actually give other players a bit of a chance? If he is forced into rotating and looking after his team, do you feel like there's the opportunity within the players that are not getting much game time right now? And you can mention any of them who you'd like to see play more, or any of the young academy kids coming through and getting game time in these cup games right now.
Well, you've said on your many shows that we are a cup team, and unfortunately that's what we've become. If Ten Hag has learned anything from the last 3 seasons, it should be squad rotation. Rotate your squad in the cup games. And if Ten Hag is resigned to finishing somewhere between 6th and 8th place in a Premiership, well then rotate your team in the Premiership and play your strongest team in Europa League and go and win the thing. But I do fear that he's going to burn out that squad. We've seen time and time again, Adam, the Thursday, Sunday, for some reason the players are psychological. Vis-a-vis Thursday, Sunday with the Europa League, vis-a-vis Tuesday, Saturday with Champions League. I think so many teams have falling apart in April and May because of that schedule. And if it happens to us, again, it comes in one person, the manager, it feels to create a squad.
Yeah, it does. I can't believe where the time has gone. That has absolutely flown by, Jay. I'm going to wrap up the show there so everyone can continue with their Sunday night. But Jay, we will be having you back on again with the games. Hopefully everyone is Happy and glad to see Jay back in the chat. We've had loads of comments coming in welcoming Jay back. Appreciate everyone and all of your live comments as well. Get all your opinions in the comment section when the video is finished as well on everything that me and Jay have discussed tonight. But Jay, I really appreciate you coming back on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure again. Feels like the old team is back and ready to actually do business this season.
Yeah, it does. And as you said, that hour, it's like 5 minutes. When you've got two mates just talking football as we would in a bar if we were in person, the time just flies by. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah, brilliant. Where can people catch you on socials, Jay, please, before you go?
I do bits on TikTok as Real J Daily, and you can find me in my ubiquitous X as JD Mourinho.
Loved it. Mods, contributors, and new members, thank you so much. I'm just going to run through the contributors again. Tom Porter, The Honest Tiger, and You Got Raws. Standout performance from you guys in the show today. Thank you very much. I'm going to finish the poll up as well. How many points will Manchester United get from their next 4 Premier League fixtures? The winner was 4 to 6 points with 34% of the vote, 7 to 9 at 31%, 10 to 12, 20%, 1 to 3, only 12% of Manchester United fans in the chat feel we are going to be that bad. Thank God, because I couldn't handle it. Please give the video a like on the way out, and that will take us over 400 live likes. It has been a great show. We got over 1,000 people in the room watching there with us. Thank you guys, really appreciate that. Make sure you click on the link in the live chat before you leave if you want to get in with a chance to win the Bruno and Mainu signed shirts, framed by the way as well together, and chance to win hospitality tickets for every single Manchester United home game in the Europa League this season. Thank you everybody, absolute legendary show again. I will see you all bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for your Monday morning roundup show on the school run, on the way to work, whichever way it is. It's going to be here, and I will obviously be bringing you every bit of news that's come out overnight, and hopefully some more positive news. Internationals are still on. Let's hope we don't get any more injuries. For me and Jay, thank you. I'll see you all in the morning.